others. Like, honestly, a lot of people around me and how they execute and function in entrepreneurship is a cautionary tale for me. Their success is not the manner in which I want it. And so I don't care how much millions you've gotten. To me, you're an unhappy person.
So, like I said earlier, we have had this wonderful conversation. This is a year and probably maybe a month ago. We had our very first. I had the joy, honor, and privilege of speaking with you, Jihana, and I said that we were going to have a 1-year reunion interview in regards to how Jihana is doing, as Jihana at that time was adjusting to really taking the leap. From being a 9-to-5 side hustler to all in 100% entrepreneurship.
Yes.
How is Jihana doing?
Can I just start off by saying Gia does this to people?
I didn't do anything.
She had a whole room full of people saying to her,
I didn't do anything.
Yeah. I want to tell you my life story, my Trump, like her voice just makes you say, yeah, no, here. I don't have anything left. And then ask questions. And the thing is, to you, it might sound like, oh, how are you doing?
Yeah.
But to know Gia is to know it's like, no, how is your soul? And so you give I'm good. You have to really think about that answer. Like, it's not yeah, I'm right. You know, like it's you know what? I'm present.
Yeah.
Which is huge, because I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, you're not. You're always on the go. You're always on to the next thing. You're always trying to just continue to move the marker, that you don't deal in the present. It's not something that you think is going to be valuable to you, honestly. You always need to think ahead. You always need to just get it done. And so how often when you're on the journey to something great, do you enjoy the ride? It's always in retrospect that you're like, dang, that was transformative, or that was a good time, or that was something. Very seldom do you say, while you're hitting the bumps in the road, while you're having the highs, are you allowing yourself to just be seated in it enough to enjoy it? And so I'm being present is my answer.
That's a beautiful answer.
Thanks.
So a whole lot can change in 12 months. A whole lot. So with you, Miss Barrett.
Yeah.
How has the Jihana that I met a year ago different? And you tell me, is she different? Is she the same? How has she evolved from the Jihana of 2020 to the Jihana of 2021?
Jihana of 2020 was in the thick of a pandemic. Yeah. So there has to be a change. Yeah. Also, I didn't realize how much, as much as I had the freedom of time, my mind was still that of a 9-to-5er.
Elaborate, please.
Because the anxiousness around, what do I need to do? 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 Was on repeat, right? Like, it's like, if you don't do, you don't get paid. If you don't do, you don't do this. And as much as you think you have it in control, again, retrospect, when you look at it, it's like, today is the day, or within the last couple months, weeks even, to be honest, I feel like now's the clarity. Now I know exactly what I want to do. Now I know exactly, there is what I thought and what was being told to me to do to earn.
Yep.
get, um, to enter into entrepreneurship. And then now it is me feeling very comfortable with saying, no, those are your methods. Those aren't mine. This is the manner in which I choose to do this. And because I'm comfortable with this, I know I'm going to excel. Where before I was anxious because I'm adopting practices that aren't mine.
Mm-hmm.
Because I see the success of others, I assume that their success is going to be my success. And I had a conversation with a friend the other day, and we were just talking about just life. And I said, the beauty of meeting people that you admire or that are doing things that you would like to have and to do is not that you need to become them. It's that you need to find your way of doing that thing that you admire that they do. Because when you try to be something or be someone that you're not, you are never happy. You're never content. And on top of that, it's not sustainable, right? Like if you were a woman who never ironed her man's clothes, who never cooked, who never cleaned, but to get the man, you say, oh, I need to cook, I need to clean, I need to do these things. So you're trying to do it. He's not acknowledging it. And you're like, well, I don't even do that. You better be appreciative. And why would he appreciate something that you gave him the impression that was you to do? This is who you are. And so the resentment, the lack of clarity comes through you just not carving out your corner of the world. And so I think now I have the clarity to say, while I appreciate my mentors' perspectives, while I recognize their success, I also have to find the shoe that fits this Cinderella. So, that's where I'm at with it.
So at this point, though, was it an issue of, did you feel like you were conforming in any sense of the matter?
I feel like I was trying to define something that I didn't have a definition of based on other people's definition of it.
Got it.
So entrepreneurship looks different for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And no one's way is more or less right than the other, because this is not Webster's dictionary. This is, how does it show up for you? Some people get to the bag on social media. Some people get to the bag through email marketing. Some people get to the bag by being in the background. Some people get the bag by entertaining you. Some people, like everyone gets to it differently, right? And the reason why the people that you see that are successful doing it their way is because that feels good to them. There is no entrepreneurship is already a battle, but there's no uphill battle because you're doing it in a means that doesn't sit well with you.
Got it.
So I think that's what that was for me. I think I was just like, so this is entrepreneurship? Okay, well, I got to do this. Because to be honest, I am not a fan of posting on social media.
Neither am I, beloved. Kindred spirits.
Right. And then we have people who are like, oh no, you need to post 2-3 times a day. I can barely post 2-3 times a month. And you want me to do it a day? So now it is. And then the mindset was, well, if I don't, then does this impact my business? Does this impact the money that I'm able to earn? Does this impact how I'm able to reach and sustain my audience?
Yeah.
And then when I realized, like, no, you need to just get to this another way. I sleep so well. Listen, that work-life balance that people tend to struggle with, I don't play about that. Like, I will be in bed by 10. And it's really 10, not because I'm asleep, but because that hour or whatever before I go to bed needs to be about me. It needs to be me checking in with me. It needs for me to be aware of how I feel, what I'm doing. Like, where's my mental at this point? So I don't need it to be about snuggling up to a laptop, waking up to my cell phone and What am I going to post? And nope. And I think now that I am recognizing that, because we were talking, of course, we also started blabbing before this started, but we were talking about how much the personal aspect of your life needs to be right in order for everything else to be right. And it's not to say that you can't perform.
Of course.
You can, right? Like, I don't need to be in a great mood to move my legs and walk, to open my mouth and speak. But it would feel so much better in my spirit if I knew all of the things were in alignment. And it starts with your personal. So now is the time to do the work. Now is the time, because it's the trickle down effect. If I feel good, doing my work doesn't feel like a chore. Doing the thing that earns me money truly gives me joy. And knowing when to take a break and not feel bad for taking that break, again, doesn't feel like I am betraying the process. It feels like, okay, you're aware, like you're exhausted. Take this time. It's fine. The work will be there. Things like that. So I think that's where I am with it at the moment.
I'm trying to maintain my composure because I just get so excited hearing your. I'm trying because I really am, because it's so wonderful talking about alignment in so many different ways, because my focus right now and the content that you guys will see later on for the remainder of the year is clarity and focus. Clarity and focus. I will also want to add that I also hear a different Jihana, because the Jihana that I met a year ago was a brilliant woman who told me that she worked to exhaustion.
Yeah.
Those were her exact words, exhaustion. Now, with that, I also want to ask you this though, because one of my favorite phrases, and I'm big on citations. This is by Marie Forleo. Marie Forleo says this, and I love it. And she says that clarity comes through action, and I could not agree with her more. Sometimes it's challenging to figure out what we really want and actually recognize, do I have the luxury to go after what I want, or do I need to prioritize what I need? So with you, this past year, it sounds as if you gained deep clarity by taking massive action. Is that a correct statement?
Yes. 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 100%. And action isn't always a physical motion. Action for me was here. And it was in both places, right? So when you let your heart have the room to speak, to be clear, it affects how your mind perceives. And so I just started reading this book, The Course of Miracles, and everyone is like, this book is just heavy. It is like, it
Add
is
to my list.
Oh no, we're doing a book club about this.
Oh, we are? Okay.
It's a thing. It's a whole process. But what I love about it is it says that the only thing that exists is truth. Love is truth. Perception robs you of that. Because if you are not operating from your core, which is in truth and love, how you view everything is a reflection of where you are.
Yep.
And I think I really just started to do the work lately, within the last couple months. So don't even confuse all of this deepness. Like it started six months ago. It didn't. Okay. But I just started to do the work. Like I realized, like, okay, well, some things need to change. How am I showing up? Am I showing up in the manner that I want to show up? Because that's the thing. I used to always ask like close friends and stuff and family, what do you see when you see me? Like, who do you think I am? And they would answer, and I couldn't process who they saw. I didn't see me like that. And so they're saying these things, and I'm like, me? Like, huh. And with enough people saying that, both the good and the bad of it,
Mhm.
I'm just like, well, who do I see myself as? And how do I get to see her?
Hmm.
And so it was truly learning vulnerability, the strength in vulnerability, that has slowly brought about the fact that I give myself grace. I give myself grace where I never had given myself grace before. It was always very regimented for me. You go from the Caribbean household to the military. Doesn't leave very much room for ambiguous, the feelings, the emotions of it all. It's always something that needs to be done, despite how you feel. And so now to come to this point and to want to venture into entrepreneurship and to watch how others, like honestly, a lot of people around me and how they execute and function in entrepreneurship is a cautionary tale for me. Their success is not the manner in which I want it. And so I don't care how much millions you've gotten. To me, you're an unhappy person. And I remember the beauty of the 9 to 5, what that showed me is I didn't need much to be happy, or what I, perceived to be happiness. So I know that if I earn this thing, that maybe if it's the same amount,
Mhm.
in the same, but in the manner in which my time is my own, I would rather that than be the hamster on the wheel, the money wheel, just to say that I'm a successful entrepreneur. Because success is defined differently. And I think I started to embrace that there's a new definition for it.
I'm having all the feels. I'm having all the feels, Jihana.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you've been doing that deep work, sis.
Because can you
I totally get it. I totally get it but like on a visceral level though,
Mhm.
because it's the reason why I've been working on some things on the side for a course, because the interesting situation that I find myself in is I have the joy, and I say it over and over again, the joy, honor, and privilege of conversing with phenomenal people like yourself,
Mhm.
right? And these people sometimes they have a following like yourself.
Yeah.
And so people come to me as being the vetter, right? Oh, I saw you had Jihana, the cybersecurity expert, on your show. I
Yeah.
like her. What do you think? I'm thinking about buying her course. And I'm like, I know Jihana. Yes, 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 buy
Yeah.
it. Buy it with a credit card. Buy it. Like buy
You're
it.
you getting it, girl.
I'm learning. I'm implementing. But I've noticed a lot of people come to me asking me, Gia, I'm thinking about signing up for this course or doing X mentorship, even with people I've never had on a guest on my show yet.
Yeah.
But first of all, I'm always honored that people view me as a sounding board for making such serious decisions when it comes to your money. But my question to them, my follow-up question to them is, but okay, why are you interested in investing X amount of dollars in this mentorship? And you tell me why. And you tell me, well, this person will teach me how to make $1 million in 5 minutes. Okay, let's think about that. Like, does that sound
Mhm.
realistic? Like, I want literally, Jihana, I am walking them down basic reasoning and analysis. No shade to those who are watching this. I love you. I love you. I love you. But basic analysis, even for people who have solid businesses, solid reputation, and a solid platform, solid people, and they'll
Yeah.
ask me about them. And my question to them is always, okay, now that we already verified that they are legit,
Mhm.
especially in this world where people love to call people scammers, that
Mhm.
they are legit. okay, are they the best fit for you? It's the second and most important question, because we live in this day and age where you can learn from a million different people how to become a millionaire. And those million people are legit.
Yep. Yep.
They can all really teach you how to do it. They're all going to teach you their way of how they got their millions. The real question is, are you willing to do their way? And how does their way look on you?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so happy that you talked about there's different ways of entrepreneurship. I always use the saying that, and it's a sewing saying, so I don't know if it will resonate with anyone, but as ladies, we can all have access to the same dress, but depending on our bodies, it's going to drape differently.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
going to look different.
Yes.
Jihana and I have two beautiful physiques, but our physiques are different. A dress on Jihana will look so inappropriate on me, like, and vice versa.
Yes. Yes.
The same dress with the same material. And that is entrepreneurship. It's going to look different on you. So you have to find what is the best fit for you. My sister has been studying e-commerce, excuse me, and learning different ways to do e-commerce. But she found a mentor that resonated with her because she wanted to do it her way, because that was in alignment with my sister's personality. My
Right.
sister is not about the social media life. Half of y'all don't know who my sister is, and she likes it that way. She likes it that way. So going back to you, I'm so happy that you shared that. I hope people pick up on that gem, that entrepreneurship is going to look different on everyone. Be selective of who you learn from, and be selective of who you listen to about how to execute on what type of entrepreneur that you are growing and grooming yourself to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think as you were talking about this, I realized what it is, why I say that, why I feel that. It's because people who are in alignment with their purpose are successful in the way that they're successful.
Say
So
that one more time. No, say that one more time.
people who are in alignment with their purpose are successful in the manner in which they are successful.
Yeah.
So you can't watch a person, and even if you did it the way they did it, that was their purpose. That wasn't yours. So it wasn't going to have the same results and the same payoff as it did if you do it and you do it your way. So that's why it's so imperative that you figure out what is your way.
Yes.
Again, it's kind of like to that dress analogy you gave. That's why when somebody asks me, where'd you get this? I'll tell you. I will never not tell you unless I just don't remember or don't know. Because I'm not shaken by what's for me. You have it your way, I wear it. We can both show up in the same dress. It'll be a different scenario. It'll be a different look. It'll be a
flavor
all the time, every time. And so with that, I feel like I am being more aware of if it is in line with my purpose. Because to be honest, and Sandy, Hood Estate Sandy, for all those who don't know, we talk about it all the time about just not being obedient. And we talk about all the time about not being obedient because I've been told what I was supposed to do several times. But again, when I'm not doing it the way that others are doing it, I don't think it's going to work. So it's like, oh, let me not. But that was never meant to be my way. And to enjoy what's for me, I need to find my own path. And it's okay. I also realize that I have the gift of being surrounded by people in a different age demographic from myself. And in the beginning, I was putting pressure on me like we were all the same age. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they have this. And I'm not there yet. And then one day, I forgot who's telling me how. I was like, wait, what? I think I'm the youngest one out of all of, like, oh, but then I'm all right. I'm all right. Because if you're figuring this out now, and I got I got time. You know what I mean? Like, but that's our society. The
Yeah.
pressure has to if we honestly don't feel like if we're not being pressured into something, we aren't accomplishing. I don't want to feel that. I want to, like, I don't, every morning I wake up around 6:37, 7:35, just like decided to sleep in. I don't do anything work related or barely even talk to people before 11 o'clock.
Mm.
It's my time. I'm a morning person, but my morning is sacred to me
Mm.
because this is my time to just get everything right, get my mind right, get before I take on anybody else's stuff.
Yeah.
Am I good? Like, how did I sleep? What am I thankful for? What am I executing today? Like, and honestly, the more I've done that and the more I value my time in that way, the more I've learned to appreciate. Listen, I'm not a workhorse. Because I used to, like you said before, I was the donkey that if you kept putting it on her back because she kept moving, she thought this was good.
Mm.
No, not anymore. Because it was to the point where even like a few months ago, like my hair just started to fall out because I was like oh yeah. I was just like, oh my gosh, this needs to be done. That needs to be done. Da, 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 da. If you want to get my attention, let something mess with my beauty regimen.
Never that, sis. Never that.
I was like, oh, are we having clumps? Oh, no, friends. I got it together real quick because nothing was worth that. Nothing, no one, like, there's no need for it. Did the work disappear? No. Am I managing it better? Yes. Am I sleeping better because of it? Absolutely. All right, I'll take that. Because my vision of entrepreneurship and success and what my future looks like is mine to define.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't subscribe to anything but that. I think about it. I try to be deliberate to say, okay, well, will this get you what you want? Is this in line with accomplishing the thing that you want? It is? Okay, then let's go. Is it not? All right. Well, then put that to the side. I feel great. Yeah.
You know, what I find so powerful and beautiful, Jihana, first of all, you've always been always like I've known you for all I sound like I've known you for all your life, but
No,
it feels that way.
Listen, we were in it, okay? Yes.
It feels that way, okay. But you take me as a person who's always been very self-aware.
Yes. Very much.
And that's a beautiful gift you have. Because people who are self-aware have no problem taking pause and having deep analysis on what's happening around them and how they are involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
And at times, especially when you are an entrepreneur, new entrepreneur, heavy on the solopreneur side of entrepreneurship, you're so eager. First of all, you're overwhelmed by the work because a lot of people grossly underestimate the work.
Mm-hmm.
Starting out, number one. And number two, you're so busy doing all of the work, doing all of the things. Sometimes you can get so thirsty and filled with ambition that you're climbing and you're climbing and you're climbing, only to figure out that you're climbing this ladder, only to find out that the ladder is facing on the wrong wall.
Yes.
And so, what I appreciate about you sharing your story is that you are able to take analysis and pause and say, I've been climbing. I don't like this track. This is not working for me. It's time for me to pause and reassess if this is the best way for me, i.e., is this the best business model for
Mm-hmm.
me? That's what it really boils down to. I mean, am I speaking correctly when I say that?
100%. Yeah. And to add on to that, right? The gift and the curse of being introspective is you know when you're lying to yourself.
That part. Oh, you're right.
You know when you're lying to yourself, but you also know that you're not prepared to do anything about it. So you keep lying. And I think that was a thing for me. Like, I'm aware. I'm totally aware of how I feel about something. Will I allow myself to stay there? Probably not. Will I then try to convince myself that it is not what I know it is? More than likely. Is it a whole lie to myself? Absolutely. And so it's like being trapped in your own prison, because the beauty of introspection is you also know how to cultivate the image that you want to project. Because who knows how to work oh, okay, well, if you think like this, and this is this, and this is how people respond to you, then if you do this, this happens. But if you're doing that in the midst of the lie that you're telling yourself, like anything, like what I said before, it is hard to sustain.
Yeah.
So it is so much easier to say, girl, stop. That hurts your feelings. Or, girl, this is not what you want. Why lie? It's okay. You don't have to. It's okay to not want that. Or it's okay to say that you want certain things. Because I think that's the bigger thing. I think it is so much easier to say what you don't want than to believe in what you actually want. There are things that I've wanted for so long, and I refuse to let myself believe it's possible, because I'm always afraid of the disappointment of believing too big.
You're speaking, oh my God, you're helping so many people out. Say that one more time, please. Say that one more time.
Just like that? Okay, because it just came out. I don't really.
No, okay, you know what? I'll help you paraphrase it. Oh, go ahead.
I was afraid of the disappointment of dreaming too big, because it is paralyzing. It is paralyzing, because I watched this cartoon, and it was about this kid and the imagination and just how parents beat it out of you, society, school, everything. So by the time you're an adult, dreaming, more or less dreaming big, absolutely not. And then the wild part is you then have other children around you who you do the same thing to, knowing that you don't even like how it made you feel because you're not dreaming big enough. So I'm sitting here like, okay, who were you as the woman, and what does the woman in you want? Who does the woman in you want? What does that look like? What is the life? What is the family? What is the career? Like, just breaking it all down piece by piece by piece. What makes you feel good? What are the things that you don't say to anybody else, but you'll say to yourself?
Mm-hmm.
And I would journal from time to time, but the main method in which I would get this out is I would have voice notes. And I would do these voice notes, and it's me talking to me, but as though I'm talking to a friend. So, you're on the phone with your homegirls, and you guys have those conversations sometimes that get all deep into. This is not for me to share with anybody. This is for Jihana to talk to Jihana. All right, girl. We're feeling like this. What's this about? Well, this happened, and then I'm thinking about this. And occasionally I'll play it back for myself, because it's also to track the growth, right? And track the progress, because again, I can recognize the pattern so much better.
Yes.
So if you said this a year ago, and a year later we're still saying the same thing, are we done? Are we done here? Are we gonna? Oh, we want this to continue for just checking. Okay, as you were, and doing that and having that accountability with me. Who are other people, and what is their validation? So, and it helps me execute in my purpose. And everyone's just like, oh, it's hard to catch up with you. It's because I'm doing the work. It's a solo mission right now. It's totally a solo mission. And it's not that I don't love you guys and I don't want you guys here, but this this is my time, because who I'm evolving and transitioning into needs all the TLC that comes from me. And I can't share that. I need to be selfish, because when you're in a conversation with another person, you have to pause, you have to listen to them, you have to ingest. But I'm only talking to me, so I can go. I can make this the Jihana show. No one's stopping me. Because a lot of times, especially for me, my friends always say, they're like, you don't really call other people for their opinion. You just want to talk out your process because you already know what you want to do. So now I've cut out the middleman. I just talk out my process. And unless it's something I'm truly stuck on, but it wouldn't be something I'm stuck on, because if it resonates with me and my spirit to do it, there's no wrong answer, then I'm here. I'm in it. This is what we're doing.
You know what this sounds like, Jihana? First of all, especially when we started this conversation offline, per the use, chatting it up.
Always.
When I heard you, and as I'm hearing you now, it sounds like this is your growing pains. And to go even deeper with it, and even how you describe it, it sounds like that. Are you familiar with the chrysalis phase? Where yeah, it sounds like you've been caterpillaring it your entire life, caterpillar. But you were in that phase when the caterpillar morphs into a butterfly. People are so obsessed with that beautiful after effect, but if you actually take time to Google the process, that chrysalis process, it looks painful. They have to break down who they truly are to their most basic elements to become this beautiful butterfly. And that too is a solo mission. They do that by themselves.
But all metamorphosis is, right? Like it is. I did hear something today though. So this phase, yes, it is mine to go alone. The test of if I've truly learned can only be done in partnership. Because
I'll drink to that.
I had a the other day, and bless her, I love her. She's very black and white. I live in the gray. Nothing's a definite anything, because people have different experiences, express themselves differently. So for me to say, no, this is 100% right. For example, murder is bad, right?
Yeah.
Until someone's attacking you and you're protecting yourself. And if you kill them, is murder bad then? So again, this is because I see the gray and I can see both sides of the story. I'm just like, well, now, but if you're a black and white person, no, it's bad. Well, if it was me or you, I can't promise anything. So we were talking and I was like, for me, the test is to go into the same spaces that were once triggering and see if they trigger me. And her perspective was, well, no. I said, see, avoidance is not healing. That's like an alcoholic saying, well, I did rehab, I did AA, but no one can drink around me. I can't go in a bar. I can't. Then you've done that's not healing. That's not managing your addiction. That is avoiding anything. And so I was listening to something earlier, and the person was saying, in partnership, they hold a mirror to whether or not the change that you think you're doing has taken root. Do you attract the same things? Do you, gravitate to them? How do you handle them when you're in these situations? And I just feel like this part's the solo mission, to be in the second phase of it, where it's the actual test. But I have to break. It's just like the military. I have to break down, build back up. So, and a solo breakdown is a little different, but it's probably one of the best things I've done so far as like mental health and taking care of me and true self-care. Like I need to know the halls of this entire body and being like no other.
Yeah.
If I don't, then I leave some place for somebody to exploit because they've discovered something that I don't know by myself.
But it just came to me when you just said the word exploit, though, because watch this. This is gonna be so full circle. You're gonna be like, wow, Gia, you're amazing.
I didn't think that, but go ahead.
You're a cybersecurity expert and educator by day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Beautiful human 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, but as a cybersecurity expert, one thing you taught me is that in order to be a cybersecurity expert and specialist and all the cool accolades, you had to think like a hacker.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's interesting that you have a profession that talks about how to keep things safe, right?
Mm-hmm.
How to secure your digital assets. And right now, what it sounds like you have been doing and doing more passionately is securing your most valuable assets, which is your mental health.
Yeah.
And so with that, here is my question though. Just like with physical, just like the house, a physical house, how you keep it safe by having locks and ADT systems,
Mm-hmm.
but you also maintain it by cleaning it and maintaining it. How is Jihana, first of all, protecting against negative influences around her?
Mm-hmm.
And how is Jihana building her mental health and mindset overall?
Ooh, she had these questions. Okay.
Right? It was good, right?
Way to just connect those. Yeah, no, you did great.
That. I totally did that.
You definitely did that. I think it goes back to the introspection. It goes back to knowing me. It goes back to knowing when speaking and engaging with other people, what is their stuff versus what is mine. People speak from the perspective in which they view the world. So I'm talking to a person who, again, going back to the black and white, if you're black and white and I'm gray and I'm talking to you and you're just hammering in the black and white, that's not a me thing, that's a you thing. That's not mine to take on. So I move around it like it's them. And what I make sure that I do is recognize what's yours and what's mine, and then not judge you or hold that against you.
That's maturity.
Because we are in a constant state of growth and healing. Healing never stops. This like half of us in our adulthood is trying to heal from childhood. Then the other half of your adulthood, you're trying to heal from the phase while you were healing from what you did in childhood. So it's like a constant, like it doesn't stop, right? Like traumas, experiences, they're never going to stop until you stop breathing. So being aware that everybody is on the healing spectrum and giving them grace and picking and choosing what part of that I want to take on. For example, if I have the friend who I love dearly, but is the negative Nancy, and you are calling me before my 11 a.m., ma'am, I'm not answering you until 1:45 today. I'm not doing it. I don't have the bandwidth for it. And I think that's how I protect against negative. And not all negativity is intentional, right? Like no one truly wakes up and is like, oh, how can I just be awful? It's what's going on in here. It's how you are processing your life experience at this moment. And because we're all doing life simultaneously to one another, and your experience of it is one way and my experience is another, I have to give grace for that and protect where I am with it to not take that on. I was talking to a homegirl last week, and I was becoming agitated by the conversation. And then at one point I realized this is her thing and not mine. So I don't even know why I'm taking it on. And I was like thinking about it, and I was like, isn't it interesting how in the midst of your healing, you're helping others heal? Because it's just how this is going to work. It's not like, okay, ding, you're done. Now help others. It doesn't work like that, right? So it's the test of, is this working? Are you able to? It's being in the space. Are you still being triggered by the same thing? Are you not? Are you recognizing when that's happening? How are you showing up? And that's deflecting the negativity, but then protecting myself against it is, I don't know if you protect yourself.
Okay.
I think it's more of opting out.
What's the difference?
Because I could be in the midst of the chaos, right? I'm not, there's no way to block, like, no, don't stop talking, is the way I think about it. But it is that, oh, they're arguing. That has nothing to do with me. I'm sitting.
Mm.
I opted out of this. Or you're trying to engage me because your method of communication is aggressive, this is how you've learned to talk to people, so this is what you're doing. I choose silence. I'm opting out of this argument. Maybe it's protection. I just call it the opt out. Like,
It's a
you
solid strategy, though. I like that.
you cannot force me to be anything else. The only time I am truly disappointed in myself is when I allow other people to bring me out of my character. That is the only time, because I'm very deliberate. I am deliberate of how I even conduct myself in very heated moments. In arguments, I still know what not to say. If you've confided in me and shown me vulnerable moments and aspects of you, there is no way I can then, in the heat of an argument, throw that in your face.
Mm.
I'm too aware of, and not even would I like somebody to do that to me, because for the longest I really just didn't share that much. So it was like, what are you going to tell me that I don't already know? But it was more so, that's a shitty person thing to do. And I don't want to be that person. That's not my character. That's not who I am.
Yeah.
I was not raised to be that way. And that's not the parts of life that I want to bring forth or bring forward. So when I feel those moments of like, I'm going to say something or do something, that is the only time I'm disappointed. That's the only time where I'm like, otherwise I opt out. Oh, you want to yell? And the funny thing is, I've done this since I was like, I distinctly remember in my teens an incident where I've learned to opt out. Like, I was dating a guy and I don't do public embarrassment. It's just a hard no for me. It's not a thing. So I'm not going to bicker with you in the street.
Mm-hmm.
And he was upset about something and started to yell. Just know I took my little happy behind and kept you are going to look like a madman yelling at yourself. I will never yell in the street like that. Like,
Yeah.
and if I had ever allowed someone to bring me to the point of doing it, because I know that's not me, I'm not even disappointed in them or what they were talking about. I'm disappointed in me.
Yeah.
So I learned to opt out very clearly then. I was like, oh, I'm not doing it. I'm out. And as an adult, I know how to finesse it a whole lot better. I don't go to places or engage with people that I don't want to, and I don't ask permission to not do it. It's like before, I'm like, oh, well, I don't want to go, but they want me to go. If I don't feel like going, I'm not going, and I don't owe you a reason why.
Mm.
I'm not going to stop you celebrating, living life, doing what you're going to do because my presence isn't there. If I don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it, because I also don't want to show up somewhere not being my full self.
Yes.
So why sit here, go through the motion, just to be like, something's going to happen. And I'm like, see, I knew I should have stayed home. Like,
Now, let me ask you this. As I said earlier, 12 months, a lot can change in 12 months. In the past 12 months, you've been exposed to a lot of new things, people, and experiences. Jihana went to whole new countries and continents.
yeah.
With that, how has that had an effect on your mindset and how you view yourself and others?
So travel is always one of those times where you can learn about others, but you learn about yourself. this trip to Zanzibar in particular was a self journey. It was so transformative, or the beginning of a transformation for me, that 14-hour ride back, 8 of those hours I was crying. It was just processing the conversations, the people I met, what I wanted, who I was when I arrived, who I was leaving there, what I wanted for myself. So I definitely think that travel is always going to be one of those things. I also realized the importance of good travel company. You need a little bit of everybody, right? You need the person who wants to take all the pictures, because it sucks in the moment. You're like, gosh, but then when you have the memory of it, it's like, oh, thanks for taking that picture. And you want the one that plans. You want the one who has that activity that we're all going to do. And even though it's dumb and you don't want to do it, it's like, oh, not mad that I went. Then you have the person who just gets the importance of silence. There's a lot said when nothing is said. Sometimes it is just presence. And as a quality time love language person, quality time for me, it's together but separate. Like we can be in the same house. I'll pop in the room that you're in and be like, hey, then I want to go back to mine. Like, and that works for me, right? So I think that, and I didn't want to go. That was the thing about the trip. I was like, let me just hurry up and get this over with. Let me just do this. What are we going to be doing? Yoga? Like I was just, but it was because there was a bigger plan for that trip.
Okay.
For me than I even recognized in that moment. And it was definitely a catalyst for what's happening and unfolding now, to which I am so appreciative, because literally after that, in case that didn't stick, 2-3 weeks later, I'm in another rebirth. Okay, we're here. And that was so deep.
Yeah.
It dug deep in a way that I was just like, well, how much digging you want me to do? The back-to-back of the both of those things, the soul work was required.
Yeah.
It was absolutely required. I don't think it would have happened any other way. Because I honestly think that had I not gone to the rebirth after that trip, maybe some of the lessons wouldn't have stuck. Some of the things, and God is like, oh, no, friend. I need you to get all the things. all of them. So, and the beauty of all of that is they both were heavy with just women.
Yes. But again, I don't want to, sorry for interrupting you, but to give context to those who are watching this, Hood Estates, our beloved family, Hood Estates, hosted a phenomenal women's retreat called the Rebirth. And it was all the things and more. And that was the opportunity I had to hug Jihana in person. And it was everything.
Can I just acknowledge that I didn't realize that I hadn't met Gia in real life? Well, I saw her at the Rebirth and I was like, is that Gia? Like, I can touch you. And the thing is, in my mind, I felt like I had already met Gia. Like, it was.
Me too. I felt like I met you too.
This is the thing with social media. This is why as for all of the things that can go wrong with it, it is a great connector.
When it goes right, it goes oh so right.
Oh so right. Think about how people travel the world now.
Yeah.
If we didn't see images of Africa looking so majestic, and we still had the Feed the Children commercials, who was ever going to the continent of Africa and exploring it for what it was? You know what I mean? So I am appreciative of that. But no, Listen, when women are gathered together, pouring into one another, and in these both instances, it was women of color
Yeah.
pouring into one another because we speak a language that I'm not saying that all women don't speak, but we speak it differently to one another.
Yes, we do. Well said.
And when we gather to uplift, you've never seen a love fest. It was to the point where at one point we wouldn't even allow the other person to not see their greatness.
That's true.
Like we didn't really know each other at all. But it was the energy that bounced off of you is undeniable and we can feel it. If you weren't, energy speaks.
Yes, it does.
There's what you say and there's what I feel. And anytime a woman attempted to say anything that wasn't uplifting of herself, encouraging her, spotlighting what is beautiful about her, the other women swept in and was just like, you are this, you are this. Do not say that. You're gorgeous, you are that. And it was just like, okay. Like, but it was required.
Yeah.
Because self-love is difficult. But when people who don't know you can see you and see you as beautifully as you are, unmatched. And that is what happened at two different places on two different continents for me. How can I not grow?
So now with those two experiences and all the more, because I know a lot of things has transpired. What is 22 looking like? What is 2022 looking like now after you've been blessed with this beautiful clarity that you have?
That's what it is, clarity. 2022 is beautiful. 2022 is not without challenge, but 2022 is beautiful. There's no other way for it to be. Business is thriving, flourishing. Abundance and wealth are my birthright. Joy. I don't even want happiness. I want joy. Joy is there. The things that I want, things that I need, and the excess of those things are at my feet. I am still building. I'm still growing. I am loving as purely as it is intended for me to love. And I think the true power and the key to all of that is love. Self-love, love of others, and trusting me. In order to love myself, I have to trust that I have my best interest at heart. Truly, right? Like, not in that superficial, like, oh, I'm not gonna. No, don't lie to yourself. Have those moments. Take those breaks. If you need to relax, relax. If you need to reach out, reach out. Ask for that help. Set up your boundaries and keep them. Like, honor you.
Yes.
Because the trickle down of that is all of the things that I know 2022 is going to be. And anytime that I am not honoring myself or showing up for me first, the result of that will be discontent. And I no longer subscribe to that.
You know, I'm so excited to see all that's going to transpire in 2022 for you, because there's nothing more powerful and amazing than watching someone being able and willing to do the deep work necessary, because the deep work is never seen, is never publicized, there's no post on it, there's no selfie. But as we both know, that's the most important work. That is making sure that you have a sound foundation of you first, business second. And because you've taken this time to focus on you first, your business and all other aspects of your life is going to continue to thrive and flourish because you've taken this time out to take care of Jihana first. And
Yes.
everything else in your life has to be in alignment with what Jihana needs and what
Yes.
Jihana is deserving of. Period. Not question mark, not comma, period. And my prayer is that everyone has that realization for themselves.
Yeah. And if you aren't there in your journey yet, give yourself grace. It it comes when it's supposed to come. It'll happen when it's supposed to happen. I just know that my time is now. And doing the work it is ugly 90% of the time. Like
Yes.
I don't you just we're in a good little stretch right now, right? But doing that work is not easy. It is not that kind of awareness, responsibility is a lot.
Yeah.
It will honestly be easier for me to stay the way I was. The problem with that is not my higher and better self. And I don't want that.
Mm.
So you can't unsee, and you can't unknow that you can be greater once you know that you can be greater. So I'm here.
Doing the work. I love it.
Yes.
Now, as we wrap this up, I have to ask you this question.
Mm.
If Jihana of 2021
Mhm.
had the opportunity to have a coffee with the Jihana of 2020, the beautiful, ambitious young lady on her journey, starting out, but you only had 30 seconds, 30 seconds, about a TikTok worth of time. What tips or message would you tell her?
Can I just say this? I know what I want to say,
Yeah.
but I know she wouldn't have listened.
Ooh, do tell.
I know she wouldn't have listened because I would have said, it is going to be just fine.
Mm.
You're going to navigate this thing, and it's not, you have to learn how to let go. I read something that said the opposite of faith is not doubt, it's control. When you try to control things, you don't have faith that they will work its way out. Doubting it is a natural human thing. It's normal to question things. It's when you try to manipulate the outcome that you're saying, I don't trust that everything's gonna work to my greater good. That was a 9 to 5er. It was all about control.
Yeah.
You don't go from life the way you have it, being in the military, having a 9 to 5, just always being regimented in what needed to come next, and then say to a person, it'll work itself out, and think that that person's going to listen with no point of reference. Because the thing is, the control requires an explanation.
Yes.
It requires the how, it requires the when. She wouldn't listen.
It requires receipts.
Well, how do you know?
Yeah.
Who are you to tell me? What do you know about this? Like, so I'll be wasting my 30 seconds.
Now, from
and being honest, like
yes.
This is part of the being aware. You have to the growth, like the growth is knowing that I wouldn't have listened.
Mm. So I'm going to ask you another question. I'm not promising that this is my last question, but this is a solid question. I really want to know now.
Okay.
Because of course we all have moments where we're just like, man, let me just go back to my 9 to 5 because this too much.
Yeah.
This too much.
Mm-hmm.
But now being in the space that you are now, being so self-aware and just having so much clarity, Do you ever think that it's easier to go back to having a 9 to 5?
Absolutely
I knew
not.
that answer. But
I would be
why?
no good to
Why?
them.
Why?
You can't take a free thinker. You can't take a person who knows freedom and then put them back into slavery and then tell them that this is the better option for them. It's like in slavery, sure, I knew when I was going to eat and I knew when I was going to do this and I knew how this person was going to respond. But now to know that I can move autonomously,
Mm.
owning my hours, my days, my time, my thoughts, and you're telling me do this for somebody else, I could work well with others, but I can't work for others. So if we're not doing this together, it serves me no purpose. And I wouldn't be a good worker. I can execute a task brilliantly. I can innovate. I can do it. And you want me to put that in a box to just put the widgets on the line or give this energy and effort to someone else to grow what they have, when if I just took this and did it with mine, it could be just the way I wanted it to be. It was never going to work. Nope. Because honestly, to tell you the truth, I'm not even trying to work that long for me.
I like that. I like that.
I am not trying to work this hard and long for myself. I'm working long and hard enough to have the investments that are working for me.
Exactly.
Because I'm just trying to live life. Like, labor is not. I posted something on Instagram and it was like, "What is your dream job?" And the little girl was like, "I don't dream of labor. Like, this is not
Exactly.
not what I want." So, and the thing is, it is so me. Like, I do not dream of labor. So I'm thinking, okay, when's the point that it's let these investments bubble up and do what they're going to do, quadruple, triple, let my money work for me so that I can live the life. Because I know I want a family and I want children and I want the opportunity to be present with them and not torn between earning or being with them or experiencing life in a particular manner or being with them or, my significant other or anything like that. Like, I don't believe that at this juncture in life, those are choices that I need to make or should ever have to make. We gonna do this thing. I know there are a lot of things I've learned about myself this year, and one of them is I did this test that was like your female archetype, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the one that came up for me was Sage. And essentially, this is a kingmaker, right? Like, behind this person,
Yes.
you can make any man a king. Like, it's just because the way you're wired, you know how to play all of the roles. And I learned that about myself. I needed to know that. Like, I handle business in such a way where I'm like, well, dang, girl, where you learn that from? Like, you know what I mean? So what I know is that it's in me. It can be replicated many times over. And behind the right person, the empire can work on its own.
Yeah.
And while I still thrive in the feminine things that I want to do. I want to be the caretaker. I want to be the nurturer. I want to do all of that. And I don't necessarily know if that's always going to line up with earning. Exactly. Not working, but earning. So, we're going to see.
It's going to be awesome.
Oh, it shall.
It's going to be awesome. But you know what I find fascinating is this is another conversation for another day. We need
always when we're on this thing.
Because we're over 2 hours there. Because I need a part 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This could be like a mini series with Jihana. Because
we should just podcast it.
Yes, totally.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. Jihana, I need you. You know what? I'm gonna give Jihana homework. Jihana, I need you to watch Jihana interview of 2020.
Oh, I would cringe. I never watched myself because that thing about hearing your own voice.
Oh, I
It's
know.
just like I don't even like watching back my own stories. Like I'm just like, why are you talking like that? But I'm ready to tune in.
You're talking so differently.
Really? Oh,
And ooh, it just gives me all the feels. And I love it. But the reason why, I know you know the reason why you talk differently, because you have been intentional about putting yourself around different people. You've been intentional about exposing yourself to different things, and you have been intentional about your self-growth. And it's manifesting right here live.
yeah.
Seriously, and it's fascinating watching and listening to you and others similar to you in the similar circle that we have, because what you think is possible for you changes depending on who you're around.
Yeah. 1,000%. 1,000. Listen, if it was not for Pocky and Sandy of Hood Estates,
I know.
I wouldn't even understand the luxury of time.
Yes. I could not agree with you more.
I mean,
I could not agree with you more.
why I can say, no, I am clear on the woman I want to be, the time I want to have, the way in which I want to acquire my wealth, to know like it's not about chasing a number. It's about the time to do or not do what I want to do.
That's
Like
the ultimate luxury. That is the ultimate luxury.
And the beauty of it is I'm exposed to it early enough that what gives me great joy is that by the time I have children, they won't even know the life that I know or knew. They would understand the world completely differently because my mindset is different. I'm not forcing them into the cog that is society and those restrict. Well, I need you to go to school. I need you to get a job, go to college. And when you go to college, I need you to get a job. And when you get a job, I need you to like. I'm not forcing the regimented way of thinking on. Okay, it's about what you want to do, and there's the means to do it with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what inspires you? I was talking to my friend's daughter, and I was asking, well, what do you want to be for Halloween? And so she's telling me what she can't be. And I said, well, okay, well, if you have a choice, what are you choosing? Tell me what's number one and what's number two. And so she's telling me her choices. I was like, well, those are great choices. Like, why not? She looked at me like, I can do that? I said, of course you can do that. Of course you can. Why not? Why not? Because so often we rob children of the joy of being children and exploring and figuring out life for themselves, because as the adult we think we're protecting them, but we're really just projecting our experience onto them, which is cruel. I was talking to a friend earlier and I said, I was acting like I was a single baby mama before I even understood what that meant, like, because it was the disappointment of that was you know what I mean, the conversations of the women and how they would talk. I'm taking that on, but that was never my experience of a man or anyone. It was just like, they're gonna do this and they're gonna treat you like this and this is what's gonna happen. But that was never my experience. That was the experience of others that I perpetrated and created for myself because that's what was told to me.
Yeah.
And I don't think we understand the impressionability of children and how truly we have to do our work and get our ish together, because subconsciously we implant a lot of our not so great traits and behaviors onto them. And if we don't work on that and get that together first, you burden this child before they even understand what the burden that they're carrying is.
Mm.
And they go into being an adult who's unpacking a childhood of things that they didn't even have, that they didn't even know about.
But at that same point, though, that even though I would hope that would happen, Jihana, it won't, because many people grossly underestimate how impressionable we are. We as humans are impressionable. That's why I salute and applaud you for being so intentional. Your growth was not a fluke, it was a plan. Growth and success are not flukes.
Yeah.
And you can tell if it's a fluke. You know why? Because your temporary moment of clarity is a one night wonder. Because guess what? Like you said, the real test is, am I going to respond to the same things when exposed to the same triggers? Right? So it is a continual process. But that's why, as I end this, I'm so excited and joyful and proud of you, because, like, wow, that's all I can say.
Yeah.
I had nothing profound. I'm just like, wow, Jihana, wow to all of this. And I hope that those of you guys who are watching this and those who you are listening on this, take this, that there is something to be said about making sure that your mental health is top notch, making sure that your mindset is top notch. And those two things are indicative on your intentionality behind it. Make sure that you're being willing and open to doing the deep work necessary. And one day you'll grow up and be Jihana. I'm joking.
One day Jihana will be Jihana. I mean, I'm just my heart. It's really important. And the thing is, the beauty of not having the responsibility of other people right now is that all that I'm doing is truly for me. It's not tied to making anyone else happy or being a better version for anybody but me. And and when they get there, we'll navigate those waters.
Okay, exactly.
But there has to be a foundation. And so that's what I'm working on now.
I don't know how to end this. I don't want to end it, but we have to.
Like, get off of it.
I don't care. Thank you so very much for being so beautifully open and vulnerable with us this evening, Jihana.
Gia, listen, you're the only person who gets.
That's why I feel privileged. I don't take it for granted. I do not take it for granted at all.
The only person who. But you know what? Honestly, I value it so much because I don't do it often. It's once a year that I know I'm going to be like, okay, Jihana, what have you learned? And the thing is, it's not even until I'm talking about my experience and where I am that I realize what I've learned. So I'm excited. Thank you for everything. I appreciate you so much.
My extreme pleasure. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Jihana Barrett. Go and follow her on all of her socials. They'll be linked below. And until next Sunday, te amo. Besos. Give besos, Jihana. Give besos. Give him a kiss. Ciao.